If you're new here, please subscribe. Today I'm with my mother here. Vigelegele. Today I'm with my mother here.
Yes.
Tunakunywa chai. We are relaxing up at home. Kujuku for a short break. So we're going to banter and to get a story. I'd like her to tell me a little bit about her childhood, how it was, plus any other thing I'd like to ask her. So, Mom, anza kujiintroduce and thank you for accepting this invite.
Thank you. This is a good day, a good evening. And my name is Jen Eshuchi. I'm a pastor, I'm a teacher. And Marion is my firstborn daughter. But the elder one is a son by the name Kennedy Ochieng. Yes.
So, Mom, nilikuwa nataka kujua how your childhood was like. How was it like? Tell me about your parents growing up. How was life like back then?
Nitaweza kukumbuka machache kwa
Mom,
maana ni kitambo sana. Right now I'm quite of age and some things have gone off my head, but I can recall there's a time when I recognized my parents. I knew this is my mother, this is my father, and we were growing together plus my other siblings. We used to play a lot. Our parents loved us so much. I remember baba yetu alikuwa ametuandikia mkate. Baba alikuwa mwalimu. So tulikuwa tumeandikiwa mkate. We would not take tea, plain tea. My mother was simply a housewife, but we could see the two of them struggle to feed us, to take care of us, to take us to school. Baba akatuandikia every Friday we would go to the butcher to get meat, a whole kilo of meat every Friday of every week, every month, the whole year. They loved us so much. My father was a hard-working man, a simple primary teacher. He had a good home, he had a vehicle, he had great cattle, he had improved chicken. We had a lot of milk, and neighbors would keep on pouring in our home to come for help, and my mother would gladly give them whatever they needed. So we grew up, we went to school. I went to Mukumu Primary School right from nursery up to standard 7, where I attained my grades and went to Mukumu Girls High School. I completed my Form 4, also did well, but I could not manage going to A-levels. Of course, I had passed. Why? But I didn't.
Why?
I didn't have we were 8 of us, and it was my father taking us to school, paying for everything. So it was that I stopped there so that others can also at least reach Form 4. So I got a letter to go to Kaimosi Girls, but I would not go to Kaimosi Girls Form 5, Form 6 because the fee was not there. So I stayed home for a whole year. The following year I went to a Regi college where I did my 2 years course. I passed very well, then became a P1 teacher. But while I was a teacher, I had that urge to continue with my education because I felt I had not fulfilled my dreams. So one time while I was teaching, I went for A-level. I did my A-level, managed to score some points. Still I had a dream that I must reach up to university. Then at one time, after some time, and after I had 3 to 4 children.
All of us.
All of you.
Because, Mom,
yes.
Will you enroll for your degree course when I was in college, me and Kame?
Oh, yes.
And you'd come to our room.
Yes.
So she enrolled for her degrry.
Yes.
While me and my sister were also doing our degree course.
True.
In most.
Yes.
I was in my second year, third year.
Yes, around.
I was in my third year. I think in my third year.
Yes.
Third or second year.
Yeah.
Me and Kame.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Na sizo pia ni madhe. Na pia ko hostel na sisi.
Yes, I enjoyed being in college. I felt fresh, I felt hot in the soul. And I worked so hard. I did so well. I got my second upper. I'm a proud mother. Niliona kwamba na nikashinda hata vijana. Mimi nilikuwa mama mzee, niko na watoto, niko na majukumu, but I decided to sit down and read. I scored my second upper. I never used that thing called Mwakenya. Hapana. I would just read because I discovered they set from what you've learned. So there was no need to go for a Kenya, yet somebody setting an exam from where you've just, the topics you've covered. So actually our young children, or rather our young boys, young men and women, those who have not gotten married, actually they're letting us down as parents. When they go to college, they forget to read. It saddens me when a child scores a second lower, a pass. Sasa nashanga, yani huyu mtoto ni mjinga kiasi gani?
Ndio ulipata second hapo.
Yes, I would read the whole night. I remember I would wake up at 3, at 4, and then I read. And God had given me that power to memorize, to cram.
And this is after you had your accident.
Yes.
So hata memorize ilikuwa hassle.
In fact, the time when I had an accident, that was a long way backwards. I was going to Must. I was taking my letter to Must. That now I want to join before I went to MKU. So before I reached Must.
Haikuwa Uganda. I thought it was always Uganda.
No, it was Must. Masinde Muliro. So we just reached down, going to Kakamega, some valley, and that is where we had an accident. Then because I suffered out of that accident for almost 3 to 4 years, this hand here, I went to the best hospitals and nothing. It was never healing. So I stayed home, nursed my wounds for 3 years, 4 years. But after that again, I started again feeling that I didn't fulfill something in my life. That is now when after around 5 years, I decided to go back to university, and I joined Mount Kenya University.
Let me take you back.
Yes.
You told us how awesome it was growing up back then.
Yes.
But was it really awesome growing up back then? When you umesema?
Sorry?
Was it really that amazing growing up back then?
Growing back?
Growing up back then, when you umesema kukaa alikuwa ananunulia maziwa na mkate. Was there a point where all that changed?
Yes.
What happened?
Now, the lawyer in them.
Say it as it is, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, my father now decided to get another woman, one after another. There were about 3 or 4 or 5. That is when things now changed completely.
Was Kuku the legal wife?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They even wedded. That is now when life changed completely. It is unfortunate when a man marries a second wife or a third wife, because life never remains the same. That love that you had cherished fades away. The children's love is stolen from them. Now the other woman takes all that love. The man now tends to forget the wife, even responsibilities to the wife.
So how was it for you after all that happened?
It was so bad. In fact, it affected my academics also. I would have even gone far. Though I don't regret much, but I feel I did not attain what I wanted, because I'm very soon going to retire as a primary teacher, and in my life I had wished to be a lawyer. I actually had sworn that I must be a lawyer.
No wonder ulikuwa unataka nikuwe lawyer sana.
Yes.
You wanted to live through me.
Please.
Oh, man.
I still beg you, my daughter. If only you can just sit down, go back to class, and sit and read and become a lawyer, you will have fulfilled my dream. When I look at you, Marion, no, just listen to me, I'm your parent. It is me who bore you. You did not bear. How do I put it? It is not you who bore me. So I know your capabilities. You can make a smart lawyer, a good one. You can argue a case. In fact, you give me a headache when we start arguing over something until I have to give up. You can make a very good lawyer, Marion. Just try it and you'll see.
I don't know. I've never been interested.
Because you have been a very intelligent child. By the way, right from class 1, or rather nursery, you are always number 1. Whether sick or not sick, my daughter was ever number 1. I remember one incident when you were in class 7.
Yeah, class 7.
You suffered from acute what of the kidneys?
Ilikuwa measles?
It was you.
It was kidneys?
It was the kidney.
Acute what?
Acute something to do with the kidney, because the doctor who came now observed you keenly, and he said, remaining a few hours, look for this drug. And that time you had changed your skin texture completely. You are as good as going to die the following minute. So your father had to run to town, go and look for that drug. We did not even have money, because we had spent almost everything. And you stayed in hospital for a whole month. When you go back to school, there is an exam. There my daughter was leading the whole class, and the whole class was shocked. A very intelligent girl in every class. That is why up to today, when you go to Kakamega town, those boys you are with in class or in school, because you are always called on parade, you are always number one, position one, position one. Every child people knew you very well. That's why hata wale ambao those who are not able to make it, wanafanya pengine boda boda nini nini, they always shout your name in town, isn't it? You always tell me I've been called by certain men in town, I don't even know them, but they have told me we were in Bukulunya primary together.
Guys, I was born intelligent. Education ruined me.
Very sharp, very smart, very sharp. That is very true. I can attest. Yes.
So, nataka you go back to your childhood. Were you close to your parents, your mom especially, or your dad? Were you close to them? Did you feel like you could talk to them the way we relate?
I was more close to my father. I remember we used to play. It is until when these other women came in that play stopped. I remember my father would be playing around with us. Then after a day or two, or after some time, he puts us in his vehicle. He drives us around Khaega. The famous Khaega area or market. By the way, Khaega is known in Kenya. It is well known. So he would drive us around the hospital area, the St. Peter's Seminary, then bring us back home. We were very close. But I feared my mother. She was harsh. She was a no-nonsense woman. Never went to school, but she knew the meaning of education. She never wanted jokes with education. In fact, with my education in university, she's the one who insisted that I go back to school. And I remember that time she had a lot of trouble. So I would ask her, Mom, now if I go back to the university, who will take care of you? Who will give you food? Who will give you what? You know, when a man marries another wife, some of the children are left for responsibility. Now you take care of your mother. So I had to take care of her since I was working. I had to provide for her food. I had to provide for her clothing. Irrespective of the fact that I was also married and I had other duties to perform back at my own place. So I would ask her, now when I go to university, what happened? She would say, you go and read. When you go and read, you'll get grades, you'll get big money, and then you'll now support me even much better. But I loved her so much. Let her soul rest in peace, together with my father.
Yeah. Tell me about Coco. Tell me about her childhood, because when she died last year, and I was doing is it obituary? When I was writing her last will, I realized that many people did not know much about her and her background. Do you have any idea who she is, where she came from, who her parents were? Do you have any idea?
Well, my mother, she was those days, I don't know what used to happen, but she tells me she was born in a village called Emusali. They were 12 children. Then in the old days, people never knew the importance of taking children to hospital. So they were 11 brothers of hers, and then she was the only daughter. So her 10 brothers all passed on out of disease. But you know, people
when they were still young.
When they were still young. But you know, people believed that it was witchcraft.
What disease? Oh.
She could not tell. And then she remained with one brother who had a withered hand. Him too, he never went to school, so he was just there. So when he felt that the village the home where they used to stay was unfriendly, he decided to leave that home and went to buy.
Who now?
The brother. He went to buy land in Malaba, Kabaras. So there he went, bought the land, but out of stress he died because whoever sold him the land turned against him again and chased him out of that land and so on. Then he had also parted with his wife. The wife had gone with children. They were not taking care of him, so he passed on.
So what happens with Kuhu
now? Kuhu remains with the mother. In those
the father,
the father had already passed on. In those old days, it was that when you die, when your husband dies and you're still young, you can be inherited. So the mother left the village, Yaimusali, and married Iburimbuli, still in Isuha side. So there in Iburimbuli, he bore a son.
No, my great-grandmother.
Your great-grandmother. Yes, he bore a son. Then that son grew, he had a family. He has also passed on together with a wife, but the children are there who are now my cousins. Now, the mother to my mother, she was a Maragoli. Surprisingly and shockingly, she told me that, do you know what? When life is against you, you look like a pauper.
Oh, so you saw her? You knew her?
No, now my mother was telling me. Yes, I saw her mother also.
Ah.
I saw her, but I was still very young.
How was she like?
She was a tall lady, and she was a tall lady and brown.
What was her name?
I've just forgotten, but I've named one of you her names. My mother.
Ayuma?
No.
Abuao?
No. Kasiti.
Kasiti.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Idel. Idel is Kasiti.
Yes. She's Kasiti. She's a Maragoli woman. Born in the family of Kina Mudabadi. This present Mudabadi. So she was giving me a history one time that her mother was a sister to the grandfather of Mudabadi. Then I was like, what? And the way you look like you come from nowhere. You have, we don't even see your people. You are like, you don't have a sister, brother. And that means your uncle in Maragoli kwa kina Madabadi. Why couldn't you stick to those people? We would not also be suffering looking for jobs because we would be attached to the Mudabadis, you know, these big names that are had in Kenya. So she told me that is it. When you are poor, the other family will not even recognize you. Then she started mentioning certain names. Then I recalled the name Muteshi. I remembered, oh, we used to learn with the Mudabadi's father's daughter. The father to Mudabadi had a daughter called Joy Mudabadi Muteshi. So I told her, what? I remember there is a girl we used to learn with in Mukumugaz. When I was in Form 1, she was in Form 4. She was called Joy Mudabadi Muteshi. So this Muteshi is the name to your grandfather as you go back to, as you say it. Akasema, yes, that is our family.
Oh,
but now our family, we were weak, a bit poor.
So tell me, so after great grandmother, amebaki na kuku na the other son.
Yes.
So when did she die, great grandmother?
Oh yeah, I can't recall. I can't recall. But I saw her ailing until she passed on.
So for a long time now, Kuku had no one because everyone knows from where she came from. For a
the
long
father
time.
had died long time. In fact, she used to say she never saw the father or what. I think because she was the last born, she might have been given birth to, and then the father passed on. So she grew with the mother.
What did she tell you? What was Kuku's childhood like?
Not pleasing so much. She was staying with the relatives. There was nobody to take her to school. She would stay with the relatives, an aunt, a cousin, or whatnot. And in fact, there is one cousin whom she was staying with. And while she was there, and now a girl of age, that is where my father met her and got interested in her, loved her, and married her.
Wow.
Yes.
At least sasa niko na idea because when we were doing the will, I realized a lot of people did not know. Hata nikuuliza kina uncle, they did not know much about her. Walikuwa naruka your story. Yeah. And I felt like, you see, for us to know where we are going, it is very important for us to know our roots. And I realized we only know up to where Kuku is.
Yeah.
Past Kuku, we have no idea.
In fact, if the mother had not been there, she could have become a street child.
Yeah, true.
Because now when the mother passed on, I mean, when she was young like that, and the mother is now married the other side, then she was like not staying there.
Oh, she wasn't staying with the mom?
She was now staying with the relatives. Maybe the other father did not like her or what, I don't know.
I think I have seen this so much in Western. When a woman gets married, they tend to leave their kids behind. They don't go with their kids to their marital homes, which is so unfortunate. I think when you have a kid, you come as a package.
I mean, I had said, even in my marriage, I would never leave behind my child. I move with the child.
Ulikuwa na plans za kukua na watoto wengine?
No, in case of marital problems, some people wanachuanga watoto hapo na wanaenda. Mimi nilikuwa nimesema mine from this womb siwezi wacha.
Tell me about your siblings.
My brothers. We were only born 3. I, Jane Musabi, then my follower, late Moses Muliolo, then our last born, Tom Rogers.
There was another one you said that you...
We were so young, we used to play together. Then all of a sudden, she disappeared. I wondered where she had gone to. Kumbe she passed on. So my mother was telling me, one time I asked her, Mama, I used to play with some girl. Where did she go to? And she told me that was your sister. She passed on. So, as it was in the old days, people believed in witchcraft. My mother had a shop in Kayega market, and that kuna mtu alimurushia homa ya kienyeji, and that is what killed her. So, that was it.
Tell me, from when I was young, what good qualities do I have that you like, and what talents do I have? What talents do I possess? Yeah.
Qualities.
Yeah. Good qualities, eh? That's not good. Good.
Qualities. I'll mix. One, very intelligent. No nonsense lady.
Hey, we don't nonsense, okay.
Courageous. Argumentative. You will argue your point until you become the winner. Hardworking. Curious.
Yeah, true.
What else can I say? Those are enough.
Talent that I possess.
Talent.
Key power. For instance, the way I would recite. Was I so good at reciting poems?
Yes.
Those are the
while
kind
you
of
were still in
talents.
school.
Writing maybe.
Yeah, you are a poet.
At your poet, what is that?
Writing poems. You can write a book. You are a writer. You can write a book. You have very smart memory. And because you have so much intelligence, you can write a book out of something. Bora you be given a topic, you can write. Another talent.
I tell you my secret talent.
Yes.
I can dance.
You're not a good dancer. Imagine you're not.
It's because you've never seen me dance.
What do you dance?
What actually dancing was a church.
No.
Eh?
No.
Me can shake my ass.
You don't know how to dance.
Okay, who can dance?
Here, in my family. Idel.
Kumbe utujui. Mimi najua kudance kushinda Idel.
Sure. Another one? Another talent? Another talent?
Talking.
Yes. You talk non-stop.
I think...
And also, I want to repeat, if education is a talent, you can go very far.
I was good in class.
Very. Very. You have the brains. I'll be very disappointed, God forbid, if I slept to go to my Father in heaven before you went back to class and attained something greater. Because you have the skill, you have the know-how, you have the opportunity, you have the brain you have, and a lot of it. So you better make use of it. Don't remain at a degree.
Yeah, true.
It will not be right. It's like an abuse to yourself.
I'll be doing a disservice to myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, that's the word, disservice.
Okay. So, growing up,
yes,
there are conversations we never used to have that I want us to have. For instance,
yes.
When I started having my periods, do you remember when I started having my periods?
I don't remember. You hid. You never asked.
Because those are not conversations you ever had growing up.
That was
but
my
I remember
failure.
when I was in class 7, you know, when those guys from always would come to school and then they'd give us pads. You'd come and ask, what have they said? Are you okay? I think you were curious because you'd see girls from our class having their first periods and you were anticipating, but it never happened for me then. So I started having my first period I think when I was in boarding school. So you were not there. And when I had my first period, despite being taught how to like put on the pads with the always guys from Bukhulunya, I still could not do it. So my cousin Ule Vera ndio alinifunza kuvaa. And then I think at some point I started having cramps, a lot of cramps. And then I would come home and tell him kuna cramps, and then you'd tell us, I think you had shame about periods then. You'd tell us to go to the bedroom so that baba situone tunaumwa na cramps. And you'd tell us not to say that we have cramps. It was as if it was shameful. Why were you ashamed of something so natural?
Oh, because I had also suffered the same when I was also a young girl. When I had the period, I did not know what to do. And the way my mother was harsh, I did not know how to start it. And anyway, it was like shame. Now what is this? What is happening? Why the flow? It was so ugly. I would feel sick. I have nobody to ask. So I carried on the shame up to my children.
Relationships.
Yes.
growing up here, the only thing you taught us about relationships is no pregnancy and no men until you finish
school.
But now that I'm 30 something years old, ndio unaona sasa unataka kuanza kuniambia red flags. These are the red flags. Sasa hizo ndio unaanza kutuambia. Don't you think, is it too late or is
it really?
Is it too late for you to be advising us?
No, it's not late. In fact, I gave you the best advice that a good parent can give. Because I remember even in school, in Mukumu Girls, I remember seeing a girl in Form 2. In fact, not in Form 2. In Form 1, she was pregnant, went home, gave birth. Form 2, pregnant, went home, gave birth. Form 3, pregnant, almost up all the 4 years. But the girl was sharp, very smart.
I think what the girl lacked then is sex education, which is very important nowadays.
And those days, parents used to shy. They would not tell their children about sex education.
So right now, would you like...
So, let me finish. So, when I became a mother, then I remembered, if my child gets pregnant, that stigma, that shame, sitaki. So you start threatening the girl child. You tell her,
and I suffered the most because I'm the firstborn girl.
Yes, yes. No pregnancy, no boyfriend. And I think that was the best. Because I know, if you are in school, you get pregnant, that means you drop out of school. And the way I knew your father was very harsh. He would not entertain that nonsense. He would even chase you away. And then also, you'll drop out of school. He may not pay the fees. And me, I may not have had the capacity to pay that fees as well. So again, that shame of being teachers, and then your child is expectant, back at home, the shame in the village, the laughter of the villagers, that we go to school, we teach, and yet tuko na wetu nyumbani ametushinda. So that one actually made me to scare you girls, my 4 girls.
Mimi sana hata ajue mkumsikia.
Yes, firstborn. There was always this saying that the firstborn always directs. From the firstborn, the others will always copy what the firstborn does.
Do you think so though? Do you still think that way? Because right now you can see everyone of my sisters, everyone took their own parts.
Yeah.
And I'm so different from them.
Ona, uzuri ni kwamba you are taking your parts after school, after not getting pregnant in school. And not boyfriends in school, because
how do you know you don't have boyfriends, mom?
Okay. Then you will also gauge yourself. Did your performance mark up to your success? Because ukijichanganya hivyo, akili, some fraction of your brain will be thinking about the boyfriend as the teacher is teaching, and then you get out 0.
Okay, I get you.
Because there's everything
there's time for everything.
Time for everything.
Yes. Mwalimu English. What happened?
When I'm growing old, I'm telling you. I even taught your father English. He didn't know. Being a science teacher, he just used to speak his own things. So I tell him, no, that is wrong sentence construction. But now that I'm growing old...
let me tell you attributes I used to admire about you.
Yes.
I think I got my fashion sense from you.
Your what?
Fashion sense.
Yes.
Before Wokoke, you used to dress really well.
Yes.
Before Wokoke. Before you moved to this village.
Yes.
While we were still living in Kakamega town, you used to dress really well.
Yes.
So I used to really admire your fashion sense. In fact, I still have your coat. Niko na nguo yako bado. Niko na nguo zako. Niko na coat.
So what on I see?
Siko kwa Nairobi.
Yes.
Kale karefu kana kama leather-ish. Niko nazo.
We putting
and
them
then,
on.
you know, you used to give us jewelry, kwanza necklaces.
Yes.
And I think I still have that
yes.
because of your fashion sense. And then I think I also loved English because you taught me English.
Yeah.
Rose, niaje?
Watu wako hapa. Mi nafikiri uko Kakamega. Haya.
Mbona fanya metoa? Kodamu.
Si tunafikiri tuko peke yetu. Ati?
Mimi? Kama mimi? Si mimi.
Hata wanafanana.
Wewe wetu niko nakwambia nini? Yeah, your fashion sense. And then I think ambition. Like no matter how long it takes, you still go for what you want.
Yes.
Like as much as it took you over 20 or 30 years to get your degree, you still got it. And I think that is one thing I'd want for myself.
Yes.
Like no matter how long it takes, I should always know that if I want something, I'm never told to get what I want in this life.
Yes.
Number 3, what I like about you, I loved English because you did love English, and you also taught me English.
Yes.
Although you were a little too harsh to me when you were in school. Unanichapa the most, and yet I was the most intelligent girl in class.
I wanted to,
But
you to
nikianguka
remain
hesabu
perfect.
moja. So that is not a problem I suffer right now. I think I suffer from perfectionism. In that if I'm doing something at work and I don't feel like it's okay, I start doubting myself.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm currently working on. Because if I don't feel something, it takes a toll on me sometimes. Because I want to do something perfectly. But there's nothing like perfection. I should always allow time for
You do the
space
best.
for human error. So as much as I want to try to do my best, but as long as someone else gives me a different opinion, naona hii kitu bana iko poa. Nataka ikuwe perfect. And sometimes I think it tends to affect my work.
Yes.
And also pay, I think, in affect. Yeah. And also I think it also affects how I relate to people.
Yes.
Because I also expect the same perfectionism in people.
Oh no.
Because if someone is not the way I want them to be, wananiboa haraka.
But there should be a difference between perfection in education and in people.
Even in education, I think there's no perfectionism. Yeah.
Yani now you are
You
feeling.
just do your best. That is, I am very aware, because I think someone also mentioned that to me, Juicy too, that I look for perfectionism in people. I don't know if that is also because I'm also very critical of myself. Yeah. So I tend to look for perfectionism in people, which is not all. I know it is a toxic trait.
Now,
Yeah.
don't over criticize people. And there is no perfect person except God Himself.
But kuna red flags.
And then, where the strength of one person, let's say if we are married, the strength of a woman could be the weakness of the man, and the weakness of the man is the strength of the, so the two complement. Unaona? So Mungu anajuanga the character of this man, which may not be so good, and the character of this woman, if put together, it can merge, it can complement, and they can stay on. Meaning, nobody is perfect.
Is it really God? Because I feel like sometimes people have demons of partners. So I don't think it's God that makes. I think it is us who decide who we want. So tell me, what are some of the red flags that would advise me or any of my sisters that if this man possesses these qualities, ama akikonesha hii, run?
Okay. I may know or not know, but I've learned a lot as I've stayed in marriage. One, because I did not, my parents were so harsh, by the way. They also used to scare us the way I used to scare you.
Did they have a good relationship, sawa wawili?
Just before these second wives come in, but otherwise we saw them love each other so well, and they did things together. Even project-wise, kufanya miradi kwa boma, and in fact our home was an example to the rest of the villagers. So, I told you I didn't know much about life. Kwa Kiswahili wanasema raha. Raha ya wasichana na wavulana, yani you go out, you have good time with boyfriends, and
she dated for only 1 month and then got married.
I'm coming there. So even when you are meeting this man, I'm meeting your father, do I know even how to behave? So it's like we are friends. So I thought, let me just play games with him. Yani urafiki tu kidogo kidogo, akinipatia kwa pesa nikinunua mkate.
Baba alikuwa anakupatia pesa?
A bit. I thought so nikasema kwanza mimi nikasema I'll not be serious with him because one, when I look back at home, my mother is already suffering and I'm not ready to marry and leave my mother suffering. So this one, si ni mchezo tu nafanya na yeye alafu nitawachana na yeye. Just 1 month I was already married. So when he met me, of course he had other girlfriends.
No kuna ex-boyfriend.
Nani mimi?
No. Ukoshi hiyo fikiria.
No. So
nikwambia how many ex-boyfriends I have.
Ngoja wait, wacha mimi nimalize. So there I am, I'm married. Kimichezo tu hivyo. So now sikujua raha, sikujua kusoma mtu, nijue kama ni mzuri, ni mchoyo, ni nini. The one who can give you money or not, I did not know. Sikujua kama ni mhanyaji. So in fact, sometimes he would come late in the evening, and then I had seen my father come home even at 3 at 2. So to me it was like
normal.
In the night, 2 in the night or 3 in the night, even 4. My father would come such hours, so me I knew
That is
men are
normal.
supposed to come in their homes
At
because they are
3.
men at 3, at 2, whether he was with women or not. Nilikuanga mjinga, sikujuanga. Mimi nitaamuka tu, nafungua mlango, basi let him in, give him supper, wala. Sikujua. I've just come to learn when I'm old that wanaume kumbe ni washarati.
Kwani baba alishika msharati?
But what I hear now from other friends, ndio
Oh.
inanikumbushanga wale, na hata wangu akiingianga saa 8 ya usiku alikuanga anatoka wapi.
Si baba ameenda kwa club kunywa pombe.
Ndio hiyo na pombe wanakutananga with everybody.
Hapana, sometimes we just go and drink. And we go home.
We used to hear men when they go to a pub, they will see a woman and say this one is very ugly, cannot talk to him before they drink. But the moment they drink, that ugly woman becomes very beautiful. She turns into an angel. Sasa atajisongeza tu hapo mwenyewe, anaanza how are you madam? Whatever they say. Unaona? Asubuhi ndio anagundua, I was with the ugly woman.
Ulikuwa unaniambia red flags ama?
Red flag. So red flags ndio ujue kama mwanaume ni no, what I've learned from friends and myself, a man who will love you, I don't know how you can gauge, but a man who loves you when you have money, yule mwenye atakuwa anakuomba that one akupendi.
Mwenye ananiomba pesa?
Yeah. Huyo anapenda pesa yako.
If he is borrowing money from you, red flag.
Red flag. Another one, when you are in trouble and he's not there for you, leave him alone.
Number 2.
And he'll come with excuses. Leave him alone. That's already a red flag. A man who despises your family members. Mjuange?
If he's despising family members?
Yes. A man who talks ill of women. If you ever hear him talk of women in your conversation, drop him.
Or if he's talking ill of women.
Drop
or inamaanisha he holds women in low self-esteem. Which means, and you're a woman.
Yes.
So which means he's also going to do the same to you.
To you, exactly.
Unasema cha mwenzako kikinyolewa chako kitie maji.
If a man is married and is after you, leave him alone. Just get yours. Another red flag. You'll also help me mention those red flags through questions. Another one. If you have a man, he could be driving. He has a vehicle. But while he's with you, he's captured by the other skirts he's seeing.
Oh,
so he's driving and ay! Achana naye. Hajatosheka. Leave him alone. Because atakuachanga tu kwa nyumba akitafuta hizo skirts zingine. If a man does not love the word of God, leave him alone. Because for a man or woman to be a whole person, let some percentage be himself, yes, and some percentage for God. Append among, because the truth is we are the creation of God.
By loving God, do you mean he has to be very religious?
Not very religious, but he knows God. He knows. Because through knowing God, he has the virtues of love.
Because from experience.
God, you know I have a short memory out of the accident. You know, through religion or the word of God, it cautions in your heart. Hata akitaka kufanya kitu, there is a spirit that tells him what you want to do is wrong.
Really?
Yes.
Then why are pastors involved in scandals and they're the men of God?
They do not have the spirit of God in them. Those are false teachers and preachers. They do not have the Holy Spirit in them. They don't have. But they are after the sheep, giving them money, giving them donations, giving them whatever they need. They don't have the Holy Spirit in them. A Holy Spirit-filled man of God will always fast. In order for you to cut flesh, if you are a servant of God, fasting and prayer. Yani unyime huu mwili chakula, you feel it. Ukose breakfast, ukose lunch, ukose supper.
Baba haikose hizo vitu zote unasema? Breakfast, lunch, supper.
Hata hawezi. I've always told him to help me, ananiambianga tu lakini ukiweka chakula kwa meza.
Mimi honestly, me I would never date a religious man from experience. I would never date a religious man because I'm not very religious myself. And somehow I feel like these guys who are very religious. Kuna vile wanadunisha wanawake.
Wanadunisha?
Yeah. I think it's because of some verses in the Bible also. In the Old Testament and in the New Testament. Because when you look at the Bible pia kimpango inadunishanga wanawake.
How?
Hata from the verses, you know, the women are rarely mentioned, it's usually men.
No, women are there.
But very rarely.
Great women are there.
I know they're there.
A suicidal bomber goes and kills all of them. Wasichana wasiende shule zimefungwa, wasisome. So the man anainuliwa juu, msichana naye abaki hapo.
That's true. Yes.
Another red flag, I was almost remembering. Another red flag. A man who will not appreciate your brothers, your sisters, your parents. One who cannot give some tokens to your parents. Yani ajua ya kwamba huyu msichana wa watu. What the parents went through with her.
But your man.
What the parents, yani it's an appreciation. Hata wewe pia mwanamke, you also do the same to the parents of the man.
It is two way, not one way.
Yes, because this is a man you love. Na si yako na wazazi yako toka kwa muti. This is a woman you love. Hakuzaliwa na ndege, alizaliwa na wazazi. So both of you should appreciate parents. A partner who does not want your parents, drop him or her mara moja. Because a good partner,
I think that is where abuse starts. They start by alienating you.
Yes, a partner should love the brother-in-laws, the sister-in-laws, as much as they may not like you, but wewe leta hiyo amani. Love them. Tell your husband, umeona kwa wazazi wako kweli? Have you sent them something? By the way, that is what I used to do. Look at my mother-in-law. My husband was mama's child. But do you know my mother-in-law? Because whatever secret he had, he would tell the mother. So instead of the mother just telling him, my son, I don't have this and this, she tells me, talk to Jared, tell him I want this and this and this. Then I would ask, why is she asking me to tell him, yet they are so close?
She's respectful. She was respecting you.
So some other woman or some other lady will refuse to tell them the son that your mother has said she wants ABCD. Yani anataka kile kitu ikue yake. But I would make sure first thing as your father comes, I tell him your mother rang, she said she wants ABCD.
Aya, nataka tuongelee something inaitwa black tax.
Ndio ni?
Black tax ni ile yenye it's usually in the African community. Ile yenye as long as umesomeshwa na wazazi, it is your obligation to take care of your parents and your siblings, regardless of what you're going through. Unapata mtu anapata mshahara ya let's say 8,000 anaishi Nairobi. Analipa 3,000 bed sitter. Anabaki na much? Anabaki na 5. Anabaki na 5,000. Maybe 3,000 nyingine anafaa tumie transport. Anabaki na 2,000. Sasa iko 2,000 hajui atumie wazazi pesa, like he has to send home money and he also has to buy food. That is called black tax. Like you have to give by force, by fire, regardless of what you're going through, whether you're struggling or not. What do you think about it?
It's a trend in the African.
But is it really a kind trend? Because when you do that, you find that as much as you're working and trying to make a living, it will take so long for you to even grow yourself because you're taking care of other people. Because of that burden now, wewe mwenyewe hautakuwa na time ya kujichunga because you're taking care of everyone else except yourself.
So I was saying it's a trend in the African society, and I think it's a good thing. Inaonyesha tu utu. Because you have siblings behind you. You are the firstborn. You have seen how your parents have struggled out of their poverty to take you to school. And you know what education is like. You see how people are flourishing out of education. You have your brother and other sisters huku nyuma. You want them to be like these other people. Kama uko na utu, you will sacrifice, pay their fees, they go to school and also get education.
But isn't that like setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm? Because while you are taking care of them, who is taking care of you? Because wewe mwenyewe hauna wewe mwenyewe, but ile unapata bale wewe mwenyewe kujishughulishia kwanza. You know you cannot pour from an empty cup. And then I think that is where you find that in some homes the eldest kids ndio kuna penye wanaenda, but the youngest ones ndio unapata wana prosper sana. Because now after wamesoma wanaendelea na maisha yako. Wewe mwenyewe your life yako imestall because you're taking care of everyone else.
Not all of them do that. We have some wenye wako tu na huruma sana. Anaona hapana, it will not look good. Yeye akwe to the only one educated and has a good home and has vehicles while the others are poor. But we have also others who refuse. They don't help at all. But what I know is religiously as well, that as you help, God will also make sure that you don't lack. Even if you don't flourish like those behind you, even if you don't flourish as much as those behind you, but God will make sure that you are there And if you have a family, you'll see your children come up and flourish as well.
But that is not always the case, ma'am.
I've said not everybody does that. Some do it.
But
so they accept to sacrifice and suffer. Na kuna wale wanasema no way, I'm not going to suffer for anybody.
But I'm thinking, don't you think, let's say Mimi, I do not have a kid right now. I'll be 33 in December. Sina mtoto. If I know I'm going to have a child, don't you think the onus is on me to start planning for that child mapema and know that mtu mwenye anaenda kuzaa si responsibility yake kunichunga mimi. I should be able to take care of myself by my connections, by my family, by people age mates wangu saizi, and also my finances. I should be able to take care of myself such that by the time I retire, I'm able to take care of myself without burdening my child. Because what happens, children die. What happens kama ulikuwa unategemea mtoto wako ndio kusaidia in future and then they die mbele yako?
Sasa it depends. What happens? It depends from one family to another, Marion. We have this family that is poor. The parents are really struggling. They have 5 children. Yani the father is a husband, wife, and the wife is also a housewife. Hawana hata job yoyote. But they go dig and do what small jobs. They get money and they know the value of education. They can see in the village these home children have gone to school and this is what they can attain and have. So they say we will struggle with our firstborn to peleke shule. The firstborn naye akiona vile wazazi wake wanangangana kimaisha, naye anasema hey, I will help my parents. Unaona? But we have now these other ones who have a stepping stone. They have a ladder. Their parents were able. They took their siblings to school. So they feel the parents have. Even sometimes when the parents are also struggling as much as they have struggled with them, so they feel the parents have. And so it is when he gets or she gets, it is us, not for the parents.
Final question, don't you think that when you're not able to take care of yourself, you should not have kids?
When you're not
able to take care of your basic needs. Wanasemanga if you do not have a pot to piss on, yani huwezi jishughulikia, you cannot afford your basic needs, shelter, food and clothing. Do you think it's fair to bring forth a child?
Yes.
When you know you cannot take care of them.
Give birth to children. In fact, I want to see your children. You have no excuse. My grandmother, my grandmother who bore my father, she had 8 or 10. My kuka not working. My kuru not working. In fact, my kuka used to work in Nandi. Alikuanga mchungaji wa ng'ombe.
Wewe kuka mgani hiyo?
Kimoita. In fact, the name Kimoita alinigimiwa huko.
Then it's another name.
It's a Kalenjin name. Then it stuck up to home. Lakini akasomesha my father. Akasomesha the one who follows, who was a district.
But that is not a poor man.
Ngoja, listen. A district revenue officer. Alafu akazaa mwingine huyu kijana watatu, akakuwa some supervisor in Mumias Sugar. Then another one in Mumias Sugar.
Oh, ni kina kuka sasa. My kukas.
Yes.
Your parents.
Yes.
And your uncles.
The parents had nothing. Mmoja ni mchungaji wa ng'ombe.
But you kuna something, ma'am. Yeye ni mchungaji wa ng'ombe, sasa anapata something in return. You know someone that cannot take care of their basic needs kabisa.
Ngoja, kuchungia mtu ng'ombe. Utanyimwa hata chakula. You know it depends on what kind of family you meet. If you meet good ones, you'll have a meal. Wengine watanyimwanga. Hata mahali pa kulala hakuna. Hata mwingine utafanya kazi na upewi salary. So out of that, sijui kama alioneanga huko Nandi ama wapi. Yeye sasa alikuwa anangangana tu na watoto wake. And out of hiyo uchungaji akakuja Kayega, akafungua bucha.
Imeisha.
Kukakawa anatupatianga nyama. Sipatie huyo nini? Akamwe kwa.
Anachemsha kama tunamchemsha.
Iko kwa hako chemsha.
Anampea kidogo tu sasa.
Kukakaanzisha his bucha. Sasa hapo ndio and he loved my mother. Alikuanga anaita mamangu nyama Kayega.
One last question.
Yes.
What is that?
But before you ask, tell me, do you have a boyfriend?
No.
Why?
I'm
waiting for a son-in-law.
Please, if you can be my mom's son-in-law,
I'm waiting for your son. I want to see my grandchildren before I sleep.
Allah.
Yes.
Mom, unaenda kwa live for the next 20 years.
You don't have a boyfriend? No, a man friend, not a boy. Boyfriends, those are playboys.
I have many men friends. I have many friends who are men.
Afianzi bas.
No. Singekuwa shauri.
Nani amekuroga? And I'm a prayerful one. You want people to start laughing at me? Ati huyu anaombanga nini?
Maybe ni choice yangu kuwa single.
That's a bad choice.
No, it's not. It's a personal choice. No.
Hebu tell those people wanipigie simu. I'm a very cheap mother.
Na hivi ndo tumemaliza itoka.